Now Caitlin Clark on the floor here today, scoring in a season as Boston
and shooting it in the corner.
She and Stephanie Dolson, probably the most as two does Indiana.
In the shoot, through the gaps.
Uniform. She and wnbahighlightstoday as well. At this point last year, it was expectations. Colson left alone. She got a championship in this building too.
But everyone comes at you quickly. The closeout.
Offense, that means they don't hold the ball for more than a space early. Mitchell 1-on-2 right up the
court on the lob.
Here's Bonner. Boston. She'll take it herself.
They've got to improve that mark. So she looks fantastic, helpful this year with the depth.
Mitchell, Olsen, she's a good three-point shooter. Percentage a year ago, he had some at the top of the shot fake, got Ainxler into the air.
Brittany Sykes from Washington before the game, added weapon for sure.
Probably one of the veterans here on a very...
Is the speed with which...
10 minutes here coming off the bench, you can imagine.
That's going to be, you know...
Colson bouncing, Howard charging. Here is the 4th overall pick. Your rhythm back as Iriafin from last year. There's a lot of...
For the moment, they are here for this. They have established their brand.
I bet it's in the work.
Here for Indiana for the first corner here. Iriafin off the...
Yes, it's heartbreaking that Georgia Amore, and she's looking forward to learning on the...
We had a fever team. It's especially important to be built here as Mitchell fire away.
Last year, she played a lot off the ball. Fantastic working without the ball.
That's a season in fever scoring. Kraft, those players trying to make this right.
Really good defender.
Couple great years in Greece. Iriafin. Teammate Sonia Citron, one of the most productive players in all of college. More athleticism-driven WNBA game. Oh, the hesitation in.
On the ball has become one of the better defenders
throughout the season into the playoffs. And Recto lines up.
And if we start seeing a lot of that in the league.
Bounce pass, Citron, pretty rinse. Bonner crossing over. Here is DeWanna Bonner heading to the free throw rate. I think when Bonner was signed
at the 3 spot, I think we're going to see her winning 2 WNBA. Play 22-25 minutes today.
Here is Sykes DeWanna Bonner as Sykes has a...
Lace them up. Why
I can't play with them tight.
That's one. We're going to keep track all year.
A tenacious defender. Citron, hands.
Leg.
As a cutting, Cole's going to have to get it up. She just does.
In that Cleveland series.
Tip off. Again, no Caitlin Clark here this afternoon. About the long term. To be careful as Cunningham is left alone.
Kelly Krauskopf and Amber Cox. Nice job of driving to the baseline.
Might have gotten away with a foul there on Hull. Start the second quarter, couple of deflections. How well she is playing when most...
And it's a player that's stepping
through traffic. Bonner extra pass. Oh, and Cunningham have had really good chemistry.
Draw a foul.
Points, a couple of rebounds in 8 minutes. The Boston Shield attacker. And
just does a nice job of finishing.
Indiana still plenty of reasons for the Fever not be at their shot too strong. Howard right place. Puts on the break, wheeling inside. Howard trying to use her size. The left of 3 gets right to the rim. Leafy Cunningham. Let's check in with our kill.
Has actually tried to been getting her to the feet they were trying to do, and she's been told you
getting skinny over the top of screening act. Did a really good job of getting over the team.
And will she get it off in time? She will.
You can outscore all the teams. You got to be able to defensive end.
Here's Howard. That being hung their hat with Tamika Cat, going to excel without a ton of coaching.
Was #1 in defensive coach in her career. The player and to be able to...
Shot too strong there from Olsen.
We're actually going to have the officiating in the league.
The defensive-minded coach Stephanie White.
There's some new vernacular at a ball screen, but you got to know personnel.
See Olsen and Kelsey Mitchell, that free throw shooter a year ago. It's Versa. Kelsey helping out. Here's Olsen spinning away. Flip shot turns that one over. Here's Hull on a clear out. Mitchell, she will fire. The rule, and so Jones couldn't handle it. Here's Cunningham. Well, there are some players who...
The floor is going to be much different for Sophie this year.
Her feet. Sophie Cunningham. She'll step back. Again, Cunningham, coast to coast.
What?
Not 17. In regular season form as Howard stepping back, using that at. Wilson launches. Half. Melvin leaks out. High arcing. Howard backdoor. Hull gets inside.
Impressive.
Here is Mitchell. Keeps possession here for Washington. And bounces Howard the left hand.
A numbers advantage.
Yay. She averaged 18 points.
They can change the rhythm. That gives you
a three and draws the foul. That's because the whiff of our preseason opener. The first quarter, and now Bonner to the foul.
It's not in the act of shooting. Their pick and roll game is trying to.
Final minute. All of the shot clock down to 5. Little two-man game. Here's Anxler, corner. And Cunning de facto last shot, and instead the Fever leaves it for Sutton, who's wide open. She get it off in time, they'll say no. There's Caitlin Clark, who is not playing.
What an incredible campaign. Been since 2016. Now they're not.
Mitchell did not hit a shot in the end. Is pulled back within 2. Here's Citron.
Pressure her. And it opened.
That 3rd overall pick. Battling underneath, got her own offensive. At 11, Sykes the leading scorer on the night. Rookie extra pass, Anxler is open. 9% from the field that they've got. Sykes feed it. 3 post Olsen and a 3rd foul. 2 on the afternoon. Citron turns the corner. High.
Citron's probably going to get 8 or 9.
Cross-court pass. Here is the rookie. Dial it. Mitchell extra pass. Bonner corner. Anxler left alone.
8 new coaches in the league.
Pops it for Boston on a fake. Boston 100% ready for the beginning of the recto. Good position. Shots the rookie. Area Finn. Howard floats it. We'll see it tomorrow in Iowa City.
Moves pretty well.
Here is Boston. Just got around Prechtel.
Disruptive and.
Washington, Melbourne, pretty spin, gets to the rim.
Knowing any schemes on the defense.
So here is Ashton Prechtel to the line. It's in kind of size up.
Back up for Stephanie Dolson.
Hand off Mitchell, bullseye. Here is Olsen on
This is the way teams in the league play. It's fast.
Melbourne, the inbounder, got it back, set up extra pass, corner 3, hit. Olsen and Bonner. Since that Boston 3 to a double team. Cunningham fakes the pass.
Pass took too long to get there. Fever.
Cunningham. Here's it's not a shooting foul, so and on Anxler, Bonner hangs. Bonner. 5 here from the line today. Wants to finish her career as Anxler left alone, and she Cunningham looking inside for Boston. She indulged. Something to stick with her. Boston shot fakes. Boston looking backdoor and got it to.
I remember how.
Feet inside, 2 beautiful passes to that replay with you. Sykes launches. And second between the bounce of Bonner battling and associate vice president.
And the officiating, you know, was traveling, contact for the game, and often
off-season.
Absolutely. After the Final Four, really, we have 2 training tournament, and we did classroom training event. They're you know, just tighten that up and get more.
Here in front of the Gamebridge Field perspective, and it's so good.
And then sort of with that came session. We're settling into those. We anticipate, you know, in every play, every call. So what we focus on is
hustle to look like you're not working. Is it somebody back?
We were a team, and they train them. We're really looking for, you know, when we make a foul.
Here helping educate us on some of the areas.
That she just popped up here in the booth. Get it right.
Citron corner.
On the same side, look at Boston with the passing skills on display here in the fourth.
As well. Hole carving out score for Stephanie Whites. Hard out of the Olympics last year. Mitchell, clock down to 5. Mitchell into trap here in the second half. Iriafin over pass was too high from Ejim. On Ejim, putting on the moves, ducks.
Making an impact through, whether it's the vet, how locked into every.
Mitchell on the drive, aggressive attack on this Fever roster. Of course, Howard Iriafin with the size advantage goes to work.
Digging deeper into their bench.
Floor here for Washington. 4 different inside, sets up Hull. Pass. It was Green who gets to the foul line, bounces inside. Prechtel launches. An offensive rebound here in the fourth quarter. Again, both rosters for the players they've been called for just 2 here in the fourth quarter. Here's Hull right up the gut.
Certainly her range is impressive.
As well.
Congratulations.
Off the
urgency, but there's also an understanding, pleased, though, with their effort.
The strike.
There's a 4-second differential.
Shot tipped up into the air. Knightson, she leaves it short, putting excitement in 2020.
To shoot the three, so you have to come up high and pressure her. And it opens
Points in her first preseason game, that third overall pick.
screen away.
And this time, shot too strong. Howard battling underneath, got her own offensive. Howard now into double figures. She's got 11. Sykes the leading scorer on the night. Now Washington has numbers. Here is the rookie. Extra pass. Anxler is open. From out there, the Fever are shooting 29% from the field. They've got Sykes feeding
On her.
Team second in the court.
If you don't throw that pass in there, that foul doesn't get called.
Sykes the switch on to Boston. They're trying to repost Olsen, and a third foul. Two of them here. Mitchell has 2 on the afternoon. Citron turns the corner. Hot.
20 shots in the game. You're going to get Citron's probably going to get 8 or 9.
Sutton, Anxler, cross-court pass. Here is the rookie. Dial it.
Excellent pick by the franchise.
Boston handoff. Mitchell extra pass. Bonner corner. Sykes attacking. Anxler left alone.
It's different. As Indiana. 8 new coaches in the league.
Mitchell turning the corner. The hesitation drops it for Boston on a fake. Boston, good start last year. Maybe wasn't 100% ready for the beginning of the.
Indiana switching 1 through 5 right now.
Recto, good position. Shot. Post up Howard. Howard going against the rookie. Area Finn. Howard floats it. We haven't gotten to see today, and maybe we'll see it tomorrow in Iowa City.
Plays some good match with her 6'5" form. Moves pretty well.
Leah Boston hit that early 3. Here is Boston, just got around Prechtel on the other end for Indiana.
Just disruptive, and if you do take a gamble.
Sutton, the only starter on the floor for Washington. Melvin, pretty spin, gets to the river.
Half. Not showing any schemes on the defense.
So here is Ashton Prechtel to the line. WNBA regular season minutes, and kind of size up roster spots.
I think Prechtel's a good backup for Stephanie Dolson.
Boston, handoff Mitchell, bullseye. Here is Olsen on the.
But I think this is the way teams in the league play. It's fast.
Melvin, the inbounder, got it back, set up Bonner. Bonner gets inside. Boston, extra pass, corner 3. Hit. He on a 16-year pro. Olsen and Bonner. Indiana now looking to take their first lead since that Boston 3-0. Boston driving into a double team. Cunningham fakes the pass. See Melvin. She comes up with a turnover.
Pass took too long to get there. Holding off Bonner. Really setting the tone for the Fever.
Cunningham. It is the 3rd foul on Washington. It's not a shooting foul, so Bonner shot fakes the 3, driving on Anxler. Bonner hangs. Bonner
In the 3 spot, and you have to defend her.
and she's 5 of 5 here from the line today. She wants to finish her career as Anxler left alone, and she back up by 2. Cunningham looking inside for Boston. She indulged. Hesitation. Defense there by Sutton to stick with her. Boston shot fakes on. Boston looking backdoor and got it to
By Boston. I remember here.
Brown able to wrestle that one away. Feet inside, 2 beautiful passes. Indiana up by 1 now, thanks to that replay review. Seconds here of the 3rd quarter. Sykes launches. And second between the will launch. And get the bounce. Oh, Bonner battling and the special guest with us. We're thrilled to be joined by Associate Vice President
Basically our head coaches and general managers, and the officiating. You know, with movement, screening, traveling, contact, and then respect for the game, and offensive
games as well. What are some of the things in the offseason that you're concentrating on?
WNBA in right after the Final Four, really. We have two train down to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament, and we did classroom, and then we just came off of a 4-day classroom training event. I mean, they're in video, they're trying to work on our replay, you know, just tighten that up and get more.
Three as she continues to sizzle here in front of the Gamebridge field. Continuity this year from a rule book perspective, and so
that was a new rule. And then sort of with that came a successful challenge if there's no possession. We can exhale a little bit in that we're settling into those, innovate the game. And so I anticipate, you know, in the officials, right? So every play, every call by our reviewing team. So what we focus on is
and hustling to get there, and when not to hustle to look like you're not. How, I mean, when you say analytics team, is it somebody back?
Goes through our games. They have a reviewer team, and they train them. They grade our officials. So we're really looking for, you know, it's in rhythm is sort of the guidelines for when we make a foul.
Well, Sue, we greatly appreciate you joining us here, helping educate us on some of the areas. Sue's insights here.
How about that? She just popped up here in the booth and what they're looking at, because everybody wants them to get it right.
Citron corners. Washington gets back nicely defensively.
Citron icing, keeping the ball on the same side. Look at Boston with a little Leah Boston, and we've seen her passing skills on display here in the fourth.
On Ejim has checked in, one of the rookies as well. Hull carving out some interesting grouping here on the floor for Stephanie Whites. So Jade Melvin, third-year guard, won bronze with Australia at the Olympics last year. Mitchell with a shot clock down to 5. Mitchell into trap. He's knocked down 3 shots here in the second half. Theriafin over ball. Too hot to handle there for Hull. The pass was too high from Ejim. Theriafin on Ejim, putting on the moves. Ducks.
There's a lot of new voices making an impact here, whether it's the vet team while she's on the bench, but the main takeaway has been how locked into every.
Kelsey, thank you. Here is Mitchell. Mitchell on the drive. Aggressive attack. 1,000 career rebounds, and 2 of them are on this Fever roster. Of course, Howard sends the switch on to Boston. Here's Theriafin with the size advantage. Goes to work.
Both teams digging deeper into their bench.
Not a single starter on the floor here for Washington.
Green played 7 years in college.
4 different old rookie. Here's Cunningham. Gets inside. Sets up Hull. Indiana turns it over on the inbound pass. It was Green who come. Olsen shot fakes the 3, gets to the foul line, bounces inside. Here's Olsen working on Hull. Prechtel launches. Prechtel corner 3. An offensive rebound. Point lead. They've been outscored 20-11 here in the fourth quarter. And again, both rosters in these moments, but great learning opportunities for the players in the. That is Washington's foul to give. They've been called for just 2 here in the fourth quarter. Top Turner's pass knocked away, came right back to her. Here's Hull right up the gut.
Made herself better. Certainly her range is impressive. Hull.
Just got engaged a couple weeks ago as well.
Congratulations.
Off the.
There's a sense of urgency, but there's also an understanding. Washington's got to be pleased, though, with their effort, trying to figure some stuff out.
From the floor, but they certainly have from the stripe.
There's a 4-second differential.
Lacey on the shot fake, fires up a wild shot, tipped up into the air. Night 5 finds the Iowa star Olsen. She leaves it short. Puts in game of the year. Well, we're expecting excitement in 2020.